Inmate 35476, front and center. You got visitors.
I guess you got some visitors, convict. But who's gonna visit you, loser? What? You want me to take those off from you? Do I have to do everything around here? What? You want me to open the door for you, convict? Hold it right there. Did I say you can come out? I don't remember telling you can come out. I know what you're thinking. Go ahead, give it your best shot. And I put you in the hole for weeks. Come on, do it. Go ahead, there's people waiting for you.
Yeah, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking here's another loser that couldn't make it through the system. But before you sit there and judge me and condemn me, just this one time I want to tell you my side of the story. Because there's more of what you see on the outside or what this judge is going to tell you about me. I won't try to justify my crime, because I tell you I'm guilty. I'm guilty of sin. But just this one time, I want you to know where I'm coming from, where I've been, where I ended up. And let's get one thing straight right now. I'm not asking for your pity. I don't need that crap. What I do ask for is for some understanding, to be open-minded, just to show a little compassion. That's not asking too much, is it? So with that in mind, I'll tell you my story. And only then, when you've heard both sides, you can lay your last verdict against me. Fair enough? A little background about myself. I come from a middle-class family. I have a mom and a dad, a younger brother and a little sister. I could remember all the way back when I was 4 years old. I guess I'll start there. And I'll start with my mom. What can I tell you about my mom? She was a typical housewife back in the day when the majority of women stayed home. Cooking and cleaning, that was a job in itself. The house was spotless. And you could always smell the aroma of Mexican food in the house. Just talking about it reminds me how much I miss her cooking. She was an excellent cook. She didn't say much, but I knew she loved me. She showed me. Always had a warm meal in my stomach and clean clothes on my back. I thought she was too passive. But that's probably because my dad was very domineering over her. But that's my mom. How I love my mom. My dad? What can I tell you about that man? It seems like he's always mad at the world. He took it out on me. A typical day at our house, he'd come home from work and sit at his lazy boy recliner and drink beer till my mom gave him his dinner. And for everything that man wanted, when he's at that lazy boy recliner, he'd call me his little pendejito, little stupid one. Pendejito, give me a beer. Pendejito, give me the paper. And my personal favorite, pendejito, change the channel. I was his own personal remote control because we didn't have one. I was it. I remember my first day I went to school. And the teacher called me. I stood there. She must have called me several times and I didn't respond. And all the kids looked at me like I didn't even know my name or maybe I couldn't hear. Well, of course I didn't respond. She didn't call me pendejito. You know, my name was Carlos. But did that man ever call me that? All I ever heard from his mouth was pendejito. Pendejito. There's times I'd go home. My dad would be sitting there at his ladywood corner drinking beer, watching TV, getting drunk till my mom gave him his dinner. I had to walk by the living room where the hallway was to get in my room. And every time I passed by, my dad had this ring. It's a silver ring with this black stone on it. And he turned it upside down. And when I walked by, he would thump me in the head for no reason. And to this day, I got knots all over my head. And I get these migraine headaches. When I get one, I think about that man. How he used to torment me. He used to torment me. Well, that went on for some time. What else can I do? I had to get to my room. The only thing in my defense I could do is close my eyes, pull my shoulders forward, and get ready for the impact. I thought that would soften the blow. And when I'd come home, sometimes my dad would beat me, or from playing, he'd be sitting there drinking already. And when my dad drank, he was a sloppy drinker. He'd sit there and drink and get all over him. And sometimes he wouldn't even notice. And I knew he was drunk because I could see him staring off to the TV, just watching me. And I had to pass by him. I had to pass by him. As I walked by, he'd sit there and he'd raise his hand. As soon as he raised his hand, I'd close my eyes and jerk my shoulders forward, ready for the impact. It never came. And what would he say? I haven't hit you yet. Why are you blinking? And I opened my eyes and relaxed my shoulders. And then he'd thump me. And then he'd laugh. And then I'd walk away saying, damn, he got me again. And this went on for some time. It was a cat and mouse game. But he'd always win. He'd always win. Well, somehow I developed this unconscious blinking habit. I couldn't stop blinking and jerking my shoulders forward. I couldn't stop blinking. And in second grade, I remember the kids called me Blinky. Blinky of all names. I know it sounds funny, but that name brings back bad memories. Blinky. How I hate that name. And you know they say kids could be so honest with their comments. They could be also cruel. It was tearing my heart in pieces. Blinky! Blinky. You know, I knew my situation at home with my dad, but I never thought my fellow classmates were going to make fun of me. I thought that was my safe haven at school. I wasn't ready for that. Blinky. Oh, I hate that name. And I gotta admit, I was different. I looked different. Here was this little skinny kid with this lopsided head that couldn't stop blinking. Talk about being bullied. I must have been the poster boy for being that. Because also the girls participated. That's when I started to hate school. I don't know if they ever realized what they were doing to me. They were tearing my heart in pieces. I was different. I did look different. And boy, they didn't let me forget that. Blinky. And that name followed me for years and years. Blinky. I remember going home one day. I tried to get lost from the reality. I'd go in my room and watch TV. I just wanted to forget everything. And my superheroes weren't Superman or Batman or Spider-Man. It was the Invisible Man. Because when I saw that movie, I wanted to be invisible. How cool was that? I wanted to be left alone. I want to be invisible at my home. I want to be left alone at school. I just wanted to be invisible. we had this picture of Christ in our dining table. And I thought, if there's a God, I'm going to ask him to make me invisible. How cool was that? I know it sounds funny, but believe me, I give it a shot. And every night I'd pray this prayer. Please make me invisible. Oh, I prayed that prayer many times. And the first thing when I wake up, I'd run to the mirror and see if I was there. And to my disappointment, here was this little skinny kid with this lopsided head who couldn't stop blinking.